You ever notice how easy it is to say yes when you really mean no? It starts small. A friend asks for a favor, a coworker asks you to stay late, and instead of speaking up, you swallow it, smile, and let it slide. But later, you're frustrated. Not just with them, mostly with yourself. Because deep down, you know you traded your peace for their comfort. Standing up for yourself isn't about being loud, rude, or starting a fight. It's about respect. Respect for you. Here's the truth: nobody is going to hand you that respect. You teach people how to treat you. Every time you let something slide, you set the bar for what's okay. And every time you speak up calmly, clearly, without apology, you raise it. So how do you do it? 3 things. First, keep it short. You don't owe a speech. A simple, "I can't do that," or "that doesn't work for me," is enough. The longer you explain, the more room you leave for someone to argue. Second, drop the guilt. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you honest. Think about it. Would you rather have someone agree with you resentfully or tell you the truth up front? People respect honesty, even if they don't like it at first. 30. Practice calm confidence. Stand tall, speak evenly. You don't need to match someone's volume or energy. The calmest voice in the room usually wins. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. The first few times, your hands might shake, your voice might crack. But you'll notice something: you'll walk away lighter, stronger, more yourself. And that's the point. Standing up for yourself isn't about changing them. It's about protecting you. So the next time someone pushes your line, remember this: respect isn't given, it's demonstrated. And it starts with you. When most people try to stand up for themselves, they think they have to explain everything. They believe that if they just give enough reasons, the other person will understand and back off. So they go into these long stories, apologizing while they're explaining, adding in details that don't even matter, trying to convince someone why their no is valid. And by the time they're done, they've given away all their power. Because here's the truth: the more words you use, the more chances you give someone to twist them, challenge them, or wear you down. Think about the last time you tried to say no to somebody. Maybe it was a friend who wanted to borrow money. You said something like, "Well, I would, but I've just got this bill coming up, and then my car needs some work, and I really have to be careful with my budget right now." You thought you were being polite, but what actually happened? You opened the door for them to say, "Oh, I'll pay you back before your bill is due," or "You can trust me, I promise." Suddenly, instead of holding your boundary, you're defending it. And now you're not even having the conversation you wanted. You're in a debate you never signed up for. That's why keeping it short matters. A clear, "No, I can't do that," is stronger than a 5-minute explanation filled with apologies. It cuts off the negotiation before it even starts. When you give people less, you actually give yourself more peace, more confidence, and more control over your decision. This is hard because most of us were raised to believe that saying no by itself is rude. We were told to justify, to soften it, to make sure the other person didn't feel bad. And in trying to protect their feelings, we've been trained to sacrifice our own. But here's something to remember. You don't owe anyone an essay on why you're protecting your time, your energy, or your values. You don't need to prove that your boundary is worthy. It already is. Let's put it in real life. Say your boss asks you to stay late, and you already have plans with your family. Instead of saying, "I really wish I could, but my spouse has been wanting me home earlier, and my kids have been waiting on me. And honestly, I'm just so tired lately," you say, "I can't stay late tonight." That's it. No explanation, no apology. You gave them your answer, and it was clear. And most of the time, you'll notice they accept it quicker than you expect, because you didn't give them anything to push against. Or picture this: a friend invites you out, but you need a night to yourself. You don't have to say, "I'm so sorry, I've just been really overwhelmed, and I've got this deadline, and my house is a mess, and I really need to catch up on laundry." You can simply say, "Thanks for asking, but I'm going to pass tonight." You still showed appreciation, but you didn't hand over all your personal details. It feels uncomfortable at first because silence is awkward. We want to fill it. We want to make sure the other person doesn't think we're being cold or dismissive. But silence is actually your ally. Once you've said your short answer, stop. Don't rush to soften it. Don't throw in a "maybe next time" if you don't mean it. Don't try to over-explain. Let the answer sit. People respect a firm line more than a shaky excuse. Keeping it short is about reclaiming your authority. When you cut the excess words, you cut the excess weight that drags you into guilt and second guessing. Every extra sentence is another hook for someone else to pull you in a direction you don't want to go. By saying less, you make your boundary non-negotiable. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to stand up for themselves is guilt. That little voice that says, if I say no, they'll think I don't care. If I don't help, I'm selfish. If I set a boundary, I'm being difficult. And because of that guilt, we bend, we agree, we go along with things that drain us. Not because we want to, but because we don't want to feel like the bad guy. But let's be real about something. Saying yes when you don't mean it doesn't make you kind. It makes you resentful. You do the thing, but you carry frustration the whole time. You're tired, irritated, maybe even angry at the person for asking. But the truth is, they didn't force you. You chose it because guilt pushed you into it. And when you carry that pattern long enough, it doesn't just hurt you, it hurts the relationship. Because you're no longer giving freely, you're giving with strings attached, and people can feel that even if you never say it out loud. Dropping the guilt starts with shifting how you see your no. We're taught to see no as rejection, like we're turning someone away. But no isn't rejection. It's direction. You're telling people where your limits are, where your energy goes, and what you value. And that's not selfish. That's honest. Think about it this way: when someone tells you no, do you always think less of them? Or do you respect that they're being upfront? More often than not, it's the second one. So why would it be any different when you do it? The guilt often comes from this idea that our worth is tied to what we do for others. If I don't help, if I don't agree, if I don't show up every single time, I'm failing them. But you are not responsible for carrying everyone's load. You're responsible for carrying your own. And when you spend your time carrying what doesn't belong to you, you don't have the strength left for the things that do. Picture this: a coworker asks you to cover their shift again. You've done it the last 3 times. You want to say no, but guilt hits. You tell yourself, if I don't do it, they'll think I'm unreliable. They'll be upset. They might even talk about me. So you say yes. You stay late. You're exhausted. You come home, you're short with your family, and you feel completely drained. That's the hidden cost of guilt. It doesn't just take your time. It steals your peace, your patience, and your energy for the things that matter most. Now flip it. You drop the guilt and say, I can't cover your shift. Clear, simple. Will they be disappointed? Maybe. But disappointment is their responsibility, not yours. People are allowed to want things from you, but you are allowed to say no. And when you let go of the guilt, you realize their disappointment doesn't define you. It just means they asked, and you answered honestly. Here's something powerful to remember: guilt and responsibility aren't the same thing. Feeling guilty doesn't mean you did something wrong. It just means you've been trained to put other people's feelings ahead of your own needs. Responsibility is about what you owe to yourself and to the commitments you've actually chosen. If guilt is driving your yes, that's not responsibility, that's conditioning. And here's the other side of it. When you drop the guilt and start saying no with honesty, you make your yes more valuable. Because when you do agree, when you do show up, people know you mean it. You're not saying yes out of pressure. You're saying yes because you want to. That builds more respect, not less. When people imagine standing up for themselves, they often picture it as loud and forceful, like you have to raise your voice or get aggressive to be taken seriously. But real strength isn't in how much you raise your volume, it's in how steady you can stay. Calm confidence is what makes your words land. It's the difference between someone listening to you and someone dismissing you as defensive or emotional. Think about the last time you watched someone argue. One person was shouting, talking fast, throwing their arms around, and the other person stayed composed, spoke clearly, and never lost control of their tone. Who looked more powerful? Who did you believe more? The calm one. Because calmness signals control. It tells everyone around you that you are grounded, that you believe in what you're saying, and that you don't need to prove it with extra noise. Practicing calm confidence starts with how you carry yourself. Body language speaks before words do. If you're hunched, fidgeting, or avoiding eye contact, people feel that insecurity before you even open your mouth. But when you stand tall, shoulders back, voice steady, you send a signal that you believe in what you're saying. You don't need to act like you're better than anyone else. You just need to own your space like you belong there, because you do. It also matters in the words you choose. Confidence isn't about long explanations or trying to cover every angle. It's about being clear and direct without being harsh. Instead of saying, I'm really sorry, but maybe I can't do that. I don't know. I'll see. You say, that doesn't work for me. Simple, steady. No apology unless one is truly needed. No softening words that make you sound unsure. Every time you cut out the unnecessary fillers, your words carry more weight. Now here's the tricky part. Calm confidence isn't always natural. The first few times you try it, your heart will be racing. Your palms might sweat. Your voice might even shake. That's normal. Confidence doesn't mean you don't feel nervous. It means you don't let the nerves run the show. And the only way to get better at it is to practice. Start with small situations. Speak up when someone cuts in front of you at the store. Tell the waiter if they bring the wrong order. These little moments build the muscle. Then, when the bigger situations come, like setting a boundary with a boss, a friend, or a family member, you already know how to stay calm. Here's another key slowdown. When you're nervous, you tend to speed up your words, like you want to get them out before someone interrupts you. But rushing makes you sound unsure. Pausing, even for a second, does the opposite. It makes you sound certain. Silence, when used well, is a powerful tool. You say your boundary, then you stop talking. Don't rush to fill the quiet. Don't try to cushion your words. Just let them sit. That silence communicates more than 100 explanations ever could. Calm confidence also means not matching other people's energy. If someone gets loud with you, you don't need to get loud back. If someone tries to pressure you, you don't need to scramble or overcompensate. The calmest voice in the room usually has the most influence because it stands out against all the noise. When you stay steady, you show that you can't be shaken into reacting. And that alone earns respect. It's important to know that calm confidence isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being firm without being cruel. You can say no kindly. You can set boundaries politely. But politeness doesn't mean weakness. It means you can stand your ground without stepping on someone else. That balance, clear, steady, respectful, is what people respond to. Respect is one of those things everybody wants, but not everyone realizes where it comes from. We look for it in how people talk to us, how they treat us, how much they value our time. But the foundation of respect doesn't begin with other people. It begins with us. How you treat yourself sets the tone for how others treat you. If you constantly put yourself last, if you dismiss your own needs, if you allow people to cross your boundaries without saying a word, you teach them that it's okay. Not because you said it was okay, but because you showed it through your silence. When you respect yourself, you're not waiting for someone else to validate you. You're not waiting for them to give you permission to draw the line. You already know your worth, and that shows in the choices you make. People notice when you value yourself. They notice when you're consistent about your boundaries. And over time, they either rise to that standard or they fall away. Respect starts with you, but it doesn't end there. It spreads out like a ripple. Think about the small ways we sometimes disrespect ourselves without realizing it. Saying yes when we want to say no. Apologizing for things that don't need an apology. Laughing off comments that actually hurt. Pretending we're okay when we're not. Each one of those moments seems small, but together they send a message my comfort doesn't matter as much as yours. My feelings are less important than yours. And when we do that enough, people believe it because we've been teaching them all along. Now, flip that around. Imagine saying no when you mean no without guilt. Imagine speaking up when something bothers you calmly but firmly. Imagine treating your own time as valuable, so you stop giving it away carelessly. That's how you show yourself respect, and that's how you show others how to respect you. It's not about demanding it, it's about demonstrating it. You don't have to convince anyone that you deserve respect, you have to live like you do. This doesn't mean people won't test you. They will. Friends, family, coworkers, even strangers. Someone will try to push your boundary. Someone will roll their eyes. Someone will make you feel like you're being too much. That's where self-respect matters most. It's easy to hold the line when everyone agrees with you. It's harder when they push back. But every time you stand steady in those moments, you reinforce the standard. And here's the thing, people might not like it right away, but they learn to adjust. Respect also means how you talk to yourself. If the voice in your head is always critical, always tearing you down, then no matter how many compliments or affirmations you get from others, it won't stick. Self-respect is not just what you do outwardly, it's what you practice inwardly. The words you use with yourself matter. If you constantly say, I'm not good enough, I'm a burden, I can't handle this, you're building cracks in your own foundation. But if you tell yourself, I deserve rest, I deserve to be heard, I can handle this challenge, you're reinforcing strength. And when you believe it, people around you start to believe it too. A lot of us grew up thinking that respecting ourselves was arrogance, that putting our needs first was selfish. But there's a big difference between selfishness and self-respect. Selfishness is about ignoring others. Self-respect is about not ignoring yourself. You can care deeply for other people and still make sure you are cared for. In fact, that balance is what makes relationships healthier. Because when you respect yourself, you're not giving out of obligation or guilt. You're giving from a place of choice. And that choice is where real respect grows.